Next up, we have a topic that is fairly new to the sector, but nonetheless incredibly important in the production world and is largely misunderstood. I'm talking about intimacy coordinators and the increasing need for them on sets. And it's becoming increasingly vital in building safe production spaces for actors and directors and facilitating relationships for them when scenes can be quite complicated in that space. So I would like to welcome to the stage experts Janka Neustupová and Virginija Vareikyte.
Good morning. I am Virginija, here with Janka.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
I am an intimacy coordinator from Baltic Intimacy Professionals. I have heard about intimacy coordination 4 years ago, and I was very skeptical. I thought intimacy is something so fluid, and coordination is something so rigid. I was sure these two things can only clash. But I changed my opinion. I changed it so radically that I became one. And today I want to introduce you to some of the myths that we are still encountering in our profession and debunk them with short stories from my working experience, and Janka will also do that too. Thank you, Janka. So the phrases that you see there on the slide, they were said by industry professionals in bars and corridors and in the moment of desperation, so don't be so judgmental to them. But that's what we hear very often. So first one is that intimacy coordination is as equal as intimacy police. People think that intimacy coordinators try to cover every naked body and eliminate every drop of passion from scripts and screens. That's not true. I personally love working on spicy scenes. In fact, my first assignment was working as an assistant to the lead intimacy coordinator in a gay orgy scene. We had 40 naked extras performing simulated anal, simulated oral, simulated masturbation, simulated digital penetration, and I must say that the atmosphere on that set was so respectful and so creative. It's one of my most memorable experiences ever. Second one is that our actors know how to have sexual intercourse and they don't need a babysitter. I had an honor to work with an actor who had experience playing in shows that you most probably seen across multiple huge platforms. The scene I had to work with him was fairly simple, and I personally thought I am almost not necessary to be there. I gave him a few pointers how to improve the scene. The scene was much better after he came to me and said, "Thank you. You've no idea. No one really instructs us properly how to act in intimate scenes." My reaction was, "You're joking, right?" I couldn't believe that the performer of such scale would say this to me. He said, "No, I'm not." So you should never assume how much assistance in intimate scenes the performer might need based on their experience. It's almost like telling a performer to go and play a fight scene without any consultation with stunt coordinator. And the last one, it's the one about killing art with intimacy coordinator. This one is my favorite because I had experience of working with two performers. Their characters had to play simulated sex. Both of the characters were married and the sex was adultery. On the day when we arrived, one of the performers was not feeling too well and did not want their body to be touched, about 85%, which is a little bit of a problem given that they have to perform simulated sex scene. We spoke a little and we improvised. And we had a very deep conversation about what is that 15%. We composed a scene filled with intense gaze, very slow touching, even smelling each other. And after the scene was played, everyone that watched it had their jaws dropped. It was so intense and electrifying. And the performers were so happy that their creativity was unlocked because they were working within their boundaries. So no, intimacy coordinators do not kill art. It makes art elevated by consent and boundaries. And I know this one is also Janka's myth, that she will also have what to add.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I just do a very short intro of myself. So I'm Janka Neustupová. It's nice to be here. Thank you for the invite. I work as an intimacy coordinator about 2 years. And my background is really mixed. I worked in production in the United Kingdom for 12 years. Then I moved in health and safety because I originally studied that. I studied directing as well. And then during COVID, I did lots of psychological health and safety, so supporting crew and cast. So that was actually my path. That's how I got to intimacy coordinating, because I saw during COVID that the role is needed. There is nobody in Czech Republic that can support our local cast. And I really liked the idea that I can actually do some art and be helpful. So I will move on from Virginia. We have something similar to kind of move on from her story. Mine is that what we are not here to do is take away creative freedom, which is very often what I hear from directors, producers, sometimes even from the cast members, that they are worried by me asking lots of questions, specific questions about what is the vision for the scene, what is the level of nudity, is there going to be any simulated sex in it, do you know exactly how to portray it? You know, sometimes you read script and there's written that 2 characters are going to have sex. And then sometimes the director or the producer, they would think, well, they read the script, so they know they are going to have sex. But then, what kind of sex? What is it going to be? You know, Virginia just really nicely commented on how you can make a beautiful sex scene without actually showing much. So it's very important for us to do our job in such a way that we actually ask these questions, and asking the honest questions, what you are okay with, what are your boundaries, giving the cast members time to really think about it, to tell them you can think about it, you know. If I feel like I'm talking to them and asking them about level of nudity and I can see that they're hesitant, I'm thinking, okay, just think about it, you know, you have another day to just come back to me on this. I'm not pushing them. And I think that's very important, because then they feel safe. And then they come back and you can be sure that when they tell you, this is the level of nudity I'm happy with, this is what I'm happy to portray in the sex scene, then that's yes. and it's free given yes, based on all the information. And I put this a really nice post that I like because when I work on set, I often hear from the cast members, but sometimes also from the directors, that you know, the intimate scenes and sex scenes and etc. They're just like they have to be done, and they're not that nice and they're not that comfortable. But actors are used to that, and we are actually looking at it very differently. Intimacy coordinators, we are looking at it, as Virginia pointed out, if we do the rehearsals and plan the choreography as stunt coordinators do, then the cast members, the director, but also the crew members, they know exactly what's going to happen. Nobody is caught off guard. And as Virginia pointed out, you get so much in that performance. And my second is what we are not doing is slowing things down on set or the whole process. I want to give you an example from a really beautiful project that I worked on, because I do projects from student films to really big shows, Netflix, etc., shot in Czech Republic and other countries. This is from a student film which portrays two characters that are not going to have sex, but it's right after. But the whole process was very important to them and also to the project, is because during the whole short film, which is about 15 minutes, they are supposed to be naked. You know, they're supposed to be basically nude. So we are working around that with some special covers, modesty garments, and also some pillows and etc. But most important part is not actually how we cover them, but how they are going to be feeling together when they are actually, you know, naked next to each other. They need to trust each other. They need to build a relationship. And because the whole story was actually happening in the bed, they don't move from that for 15 minutes. We had 4 rehearsals. The students took it really seriously, and the cast members as well. There is Alžběta Malá, who is very well known, and Cyril Janeček. And I must say, I have never experienced such a brilliant collaboration, because we did it step by step, as you're supposed to. We built the choreography with the director, with the DOP, and then we did it all when they are dressed. And then when they trusted each other, they also tried the scene, part of the scenes, in their underwear. And I think that was very important for the cast members, but also for the core crew, because it changes when you're trying something in clothes, and then all of a sudden, you know, you can actually touch the person, you can feel the skin, it changes everything. So I just wanted to give this example because it didn't slow things down. We knew exactly what we are doing when we are filming, and we were extremely fast. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was really interesting, and I have a couple questions for both of you, actually. When you talked about there being some kind of pushback and from people when you originally started, who, you know, I can imagine you might get pushback from directors or producers that are unfamiliar with having this element on set. But do you ever get pushback from actors? I mean, who have been the hardest to kind of convince that your services are useful? Or is it everyone, or is it more on the kind of director or producing side?
Can I? Yeah. So I wouldn't call it pushback, I think. It's more about, as you said, then it's very new. It's very new, so cast members that have been working for years, decades, they haven't had this. They had maybe some kind of support through makeup artists, for costumes that, you know, they would offload when there's nobody around, but not really specialized support. So for some of them, it's maybe even to protecting themselves in a sense, because they had to go through it by themselves. and they managed somehow, so that's their way of coping with it. But it's not definitely a generation thing. Like, it depends really on personality and what they are used to. I'm one of the intimacy coordinators that I've totally respected. So if someone doesn't really feel like they need me, I always say, fine, but there are two people. If there are two people in the scene, then I'm here to support your counterpart, so please respect that, and I'm still here for you.
Okay. Yeah. And what about in terms of stages of a project? Like, when do you typically board a project? At what stage? And, you know, is it beneficial for you to be involved in the process earlier on? I would imagine that's a yes, but at what stage now, because it's so new, are you being invited? And are producers and directors thinking of inviting you onto the set?
Well, there can be several different stages. Very, very advanced practices invite intimacy coordinators during the casting, so that intimacy coordinators could help formulate the cast call. So there would be all the necessary information for those that go there. But that's quite rare. What is more common is it's in pre-production. What is most often is 2 weeks before the shooting days.
Okay.
Yes.
So get involved earlier then, for sure. It sounds like it's always beneficial for everybody. The earlier you're in, the better.
Pre-production, I think Virginia, you will probably agree, but pre-production is like one of the most important parts, like really, for me. Because if I don't have the pre-production, I feel really like, what can I do on set actually? Then I am one of these like ladies that are standing there and somehow guessing, because I don't know them. I haven't really done my prep work with them.
Okay.
It's like 90% of problems that happen on set, they happen because there was no time for prep.
Of course, yeah. Thank you both for being here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.